Hey, my name is Robert Manny Jr. from Alpha and Omega Productions, and here I have the URSA Major. And why the hell am I talking about the URSA Major? Not the URSA Major, but the original URSA, the big one, the granddaddy, the one with this. It's heavy, and this amazing, this amazing screen, and it truly is amazing. I'm talking about it because I have this problem. I have a problem with letting things go, especially when it comes to my money and my business. And so I know no one's talking about this camera anymore. We use it all the time. It's a great camera. Again, the 10-inch monitor is amazing, time code in and out. There's screen here for the focus puller. You get a great image, and it's solid. Never had any problems, any issues with it out in the field, and it's been a good workhorse. We also have an URSA Mini Pro because we took advantage of the upgrade. As the president of Blackmagic said, that the upgrade at a discounted price was for those URSA owners who were waiting for the 4.6K sensor turret to be completed, and in the meantime, you could use URSA Mini Pro at a discounted price until the 4.6K turret arrived for your camera. And that's my problem. So I have a problem with letting that go. So history is, this camera was touted when it came out as the first cinema camera, or camera, I think, period, with an upgradable sensor. And on the box said world's first. And you could unscrew these bolts here, pull this turret out, put the new turret in with the new sensor, and you have a new sensor, upgradable, user upgradable. That was the kicker, user upgradable. You could just buy the turret, pull the bolts, torque screw, put them back, and you're good to go. Well, this was announced, the turret upgrade was announced and put on their website in 2015. I don't know if it was NAB, somebody could post in the comments exactly when it was. But they made that announcement. They actually put on the website some sample footage of the URSA, not the URSA Mini or URSA Mini Pro, but the URSA with the 4.6K sensor. They posted some images, a video on their website, and said this would be shipping soon. Well, we know how Blackmagic goes for shipping soon. But they announced it. They actually had a camera at NAB that year with the 4.6K sensor. They showed the URSA. They had footage. So I went ahead and bought the 4K URSA, knowing that, hey, the turret's coming soon, and whenever I want to upgrade, I can just buy the turret, 4.6K sensor, which I was really excited about. And we were good to go. You know, one camera that would kind of be a little bit future-proof. And that's how they sold it. And that's why I bought it. Well, cut to months and months and months and months and years after the turret never came. Then it was pulled off of B&H's website. The pre-orders were canceled and people's money was returned, or not really returned. Pre-orders were canceled, because I guess money didn't really leave your pocket until the order went through. And I decided to contact Blackmagic because I'm not a big fan of buying a product that is advertised one way and then not delivered. So I contacted them. And to my surprise, the president, US president of Blackmagic, his office called me and said, hey, when would be a good time for you to chat with Dan May? And I said, a certain date. I got all my paperwork and everything ready and everything to have a nice battle on the phone. And I will post the details of the conversation below, but the gist of it was, when I was ready for my fight, I remember I was at my daughter's preschool, and I just dropped her off, and I was outside. The phone rang, and then they said, "Are you available to speak to Dan?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Hey, Rob." I said, "Hey, how you doing? Ready to fight?" And he immediately apologized. And the gist was, we've dropped the ball. We know we've dropped the ball, and we're trying to fix it. And he kind of told me that, here's the process of making a sensor. We thought it was done. We thought it was ready to go. It's not where we want it. We don't want to deliver a product that's not ready or won't be to customer satisfaction. And he's talking about, the 3-month turnaround. Like, they make the sensor, they send it to Blackmagic, they test it in the camera, it doesn't work to how they need it, and they call the sensor manufacturer, they say, "Hey, these are the problems." They try to fix the problems. 3 months later, they deliver another sensor. So he's saying, this is the turnaround of this process. Now, after that conversation, I got the true sense that Dan May, the U.S. president of Blackmagic, truly wanted to solve this problem. That he truly wanted to deliver the turret and make the customers who bought the URSA happy. The problem was, from the conversation, neither he nor I got the feeling that the president of Blackmagic wanted this to happen. President of Blackmagic, from the conversation, from what I was told, didn't want to deal with it anymore. And said, "Hey, this is what I was told again. Can we forget about this?" He was told, "No, you can't." And he can't, because this is what he advertised. This is what he sold. He sold this with a user upgradable sensor, turret, and did not deliver. So, on the forum of Blackmagic, I don't know, there's over, I think, 200,000, actually I'm on the computer, so let's see. Before I do that, let's talk about, I posted this on Blackmagic's forum. And when was this post made? This was back in 2017, in May. So I had a conversation with Dan May today via telephone. Excuse me reading this. Actually, you know what, so I'm not staring down at the screen. Via telephone for about 45 minutes. Not what I expected, in a good way, as I said. Yes, I want to switch to tablet mode. So I said in this posting, after I hung up the phone, I felt as if I had a conversation with a friend that owns an URSA and is trying to figure out what went wrong. And I truly felt that way. I felt that he was concerned, he listened to my concerns, and he wanted to do something about it. So it was informative. The turnaround of the sensor, every 3 months, I wasn't aware of that, of the time that it takes. That made sense to me. And he said he's trying to make it happen. And then I also wrote here, please understand that Dan May is not the CEO of Blackmagic Design. The CEO, Grant Petty, is going to have the final say if the turret is going to come to fruition. Now, we didn't talk about any legal problems. I kind of felt he understood that when he said that, they said that Grant Petty has to address this and has to follow through. For the URSA owners. It was communicated to Dan May that the 4.6K turret will happen. It has to happen. And then I wrote, now, does this mean it's going to happen? No. It means they're very actively working on the turret, and he laid out the reasons for the delay. So he was open about admitting mistakes. He understood why URSA owners were disappointed. He admitted that the lack of communication was a mistake, announcing the 4.6K turret and URSA was a mistake before they had it completely working, and removing the URSA and many other products from the website was poor timing because they pulled the turret, the big URSA from the website, and then everybody was like, whoa, 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 you said you were working on the turret, and all of a sudden you pulled the products, you're no longer selling the big URSA. And that was a clear sign of them not supporting this camera any longer. You know, I'm not going to get a call from the US president of Canon or Sony or Apple, maybe Apple, or Nikon, and have the same conversation. So I said, in my honest opinion, Dan May is seeking a solution, but I'm not sure Blackmagic Design has the same fervor regarding seeking that solution. Dan made no promises on this call, and I thought that was smart. I did point out the promises that had been made verbally and in writing regarding the URSA, and the fact that it was, quote, the world's first user upgradable camera. A little bit after that, Grant Petty posted on the forum saying that, apologizing for the lack of communication. This is shortly after this conversation I had with Dan May, and said that they're actively working on the turret, and he encouraged current URSA owners to take advantage of the upgrade, and that they would keep us updated on the progress with the 4.6K turret for the big URSA. That was a year ago. No other communication has happened since then. Now, I'm not one of those people to wait around. I contacted the consumer in New York. I live in New York City, and I contacted the Consumer Affairs Department of New York State. They actually contacted Blackmagic Design and Dan May on my behalf, and the response was, and just so you know what I asked for, I said, I'm at a point now where I don't feel that the turret is going to happen, and I wanted to return this camera for a refund and any accessories that went along with it. And so the response was, as I've told Robert, this is the gist, it's not a quote, but as I've told Robert that we are still working on the turret, and as such, we are not going to provide Robert with a refund if he turns in the camera, and we are actively working, and we will let him know and keep him updated on the progress. Again, it's been a year since that. The New York State Consumer Department suggested that I seek legal representation to get my money back, was their suggestion. I have not done that. You know, if I get a refund for this camera and I hire a lawyer, I would probably, unless the lawyer is very kind, break even. So, what would have to happen is all the URSA owners, and I don't even know how many there are out there, but considering that this forum post regarding the lack of a 4.6K turret has over 200,000 views and thousands upon thousands of comments, I would imagine that it's actually probably the most viewed and posted subject on Blackmagic's forum. People are still concerned about this, so I encourage people to speak out, to contact Blackmagic and say, hey, this is what you advertise and this is what you promise. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you're a crybaby, stop crying, you have a camera, it works. What's the big deal? And, you know, I say, again, this is my problem. I say the big deal is you not just promise, you didn't verbally say, you showed footage, you announced shipping, you advertised this as the world's first upgradable camera, and that's why people purchase this camera. You know, they didn't purchase a 20-pound camera just because of the great image quality. A lot of cameras have great image quality. I'm just not happy about the way this thing was handled. It's not okay. It's not kosher to do something like that to consumers. I know it happens all the time, but that doesn't mean it's okay. And it's not something that should be forgotten about it. You know what? It may not get resolved. It may not get resolved at all. You know, I may just have to be happy with this great camera that I have, and not get any sort of real apology from Blackmagic or real kind of, you know, they offered the upgrade for, you know, the upgrade wasn't free. It wasn't like, hey, give us your URSA and we'll give you URSA Mini Pro if you want to do that. It wasn't something like that, which I think that's an upgrade. That's an exchange. That's you saying, yeah, we dropped the ball. You have this camera if you want to, if you would like to, and some people wouldn't choose to. If you would like to, you can send us your big URSA and we'll send you an URSA Mini Pro. That would have been an upgrade program, but that's not what happened. So I know this is a long rant. I know this, you know, many of you may say, hey, you know, stop crying, which a lot of people on the forum say, and then on the flip side, a lot of people will say, look, we've kind of been duped about this. So I'm not happy about it. And, you know, I try to, you know, those people that say, oh, you're crying about it, I try to say that, hey, you know, say you buy a car, right? And you buy a car, and the car is advertised as getting 65 miles to the gallon. And you buy the car, and it gets 30 miles to the gallon. But you have a car. It works. It takes you A to B. There are no other mechanical problems. But, okay, you're getting 30 miles per gallon instead of 65. And then somebody tells you, stop crying about it. You would take that car back. And, of course, a dealer would say, well, no, we'll try to help you. Or what if we give you an extended warranty? Or blah, blah, blah. What if we give you an upgrade? But, you know, if somebody said, stop crying about it, and you're losing 35 miles to the gallon, I would imagine you would say to that person, go. So that's how I feel about it.